right, welcome to Burgers and Bourbon. I am Brian, that's Chris, that's Jeff. Jeff's from across the hall, we said that last week. He's still here. You can't get him to go away.
Right.
He likes it over here better.
We offered free...
Same shirt. And
we offered free bourbon and burger.
Yeah, he had a free burger
and
last
he started
week.
hanging out.
Yeah, and then we said, wait, we're tasting a bourbon. He's like, well, I'm not going anywhere. So he stuck around. So anyway, hey, so Jeff's across the hall from Paducah Bank. He does mortgages, so if you need a refi, if you're building a new home, and I know the real estate market is nuts here.
Yeah.
So if you get an opportunity and you're selling your house, you're buying another one, call Jeff. He'll take care of you on the mortgage side. Now, so last week we did a burger. It was
the Booty Burger.
Booty Burger from Put It on a Bun.
At Booty's.
Put It on a Bun
Get
at
it
Booty's.
on a bun at Booty's. Something like that.
Yeah, anyway, look them up. Go to last week. You'll get all the information. So this week we're doing a bourbon. This is actually one of some folks here in the office love this. It used to be, I think our Mr. Producer said this was their kind of go-to.
He's already going to it.
Yeah, he's already going to it.
Behind the camera.
And we're getting ready to. So, by the way, if the I think I said this last week, so the joke may not be that funny, but if slides start popping in and out like Booty Burger shows up whenever, it's because of the bourbon stocking over there. All right, so here it is. 7 Williams single barrel. You got it? Over which way?
Yep, there you go.
That way? Okay. All right, so there it is. And I will tell you, last week we showed you bottles that Chris does, that I do. 2 weeks ago, sorry. So we decorate bottles. So a lot of people decorate them. And by the way, if you decorate in a pretty cool way, make sure you send that to us.
Let us know what it is, yeah.
We'd love to see it. We'll show it off. This is actually one of those bottles that would be kind of cool.
This would be a good bottle.
This would be a good bottle to do. So, and I'm sure somebody will do something with it because it's kind of cool.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. So, Chris, real quick, why don't you explain to people when it says single barrel, what does that actually mean?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Well, I know what it sounds like.
Most bourbons, what they do.
I just said it's single, but that's what it sounds like.
It is what it sounds like.
No.
Most bourbons, what they'll do in order to get a consistent product from one bottle to the next, regardless of where you buy it, is that they blend a bunch of barrels together. The whole single barrel concept came from, hey, if you don't mix it, this barrel is unique. It's special, and there's like the honey spot or something like that in the rick house produces a better bourbon in that spot. Because the combination of heat and cold, and one of these days we'll get somebody special to come in here and teach us a little bit more about that. But the concept is when you see a single barrel bourbon, they will almost always have a location in the rick house where the barrel was stored, or they will have a rick that it was on.
Mr. Producer,
can you focus in on that one? But it'll have this particular case. It's got the date that it went into the barrel. And it's got the date that it was taken out of the barrel and bottled. So in this particular case, we've got an almost 8-year-old bourbon. So I'm expecting this is going to be pretty good.
So the aging process stops when they put it in the bottle.
Yeah,
that's right.
It doesn't really change once it gets in that bottle. It's all about the barrel and about how that bourbon pushes in and out of that wood over time. My next door neighbors just the other night gave me some used staves from an old bourbon barrel to burn on fireplace out in the fire pit. And I was showing my kids, you look at the cross section, you can see where the mark is, where it's gone into. So, I mean, that's where all the flavor really comes from, other than the mash itself.
Yeah, here's this interesting conversation we were having with somebody about bourbon and bourbon storage. And they were talking about just doing something a little bit unique. And they said, well, why don't we take the bourbon and put it it was in like an underground storage, like in a cave.
Yeah.
And they were going to reference the bourbon about being cured, or, in a where it was stored. They were going to kind of play on the name. And I go, I'm not sure that's going to work because it would be the same temperature, which is honestly why Kentucky is so good. Such a good area for bourbon because it gets really, really hot and it can get cold too. So that barrel is
really works it too. It's the big difference between Kentucky bourbon and American whiskeys and Scotch. Right. Where the climate there is pretty much cold and miserable year round. That's why they played golf, because they needed to be more cold and more miserable.
Yeah,
the golfers get that one. That's what makes it great, is that hot and cold.
Yeah. So here's what we do. You guys know. If you've watched us at all, we basically just taste it and give you our opinion on it. And our opinion is going to be ranked on a scale from 1 to 10, but we're also going to give you our opinion on whether this is something that we would daily drink. No, well, that doesn't sound right. It's like our go-to for if you just want a
Freudian slip there.
Just a bourbon, like when you get home and you're like, man, I've had a rough day. I want a bourbon.
My doctor's calling you right now.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. But there's also occasions where you might have a special occasion, which we talked about. I think it was last time we did one, which was very good. It was Kentucky Par, so make sure you go check that out. It was 2 weeks ago. But that's a little bit different, right? Yeah. So there are difference between bourbons that you would have on a not daily basis, but if you're going to just generically pull it out and you're like, hey, I just want a bourbon. Or if there's a bourbon you want to pull out for a special occasion. I don't think this is one that you want to pull out for a special occasion, right?
What's our price point on this?
It's $25.
25.
Yeah, $25.
That's a steal if this is good.
Yeah, so, but again, I don't know. We're going to taste it, but my first impression is this is not one that you would want to pull out. But I don't know. Maybe it is, so that's what we're going to determine right now. So anyway, I will tell you that the aroma of this one's pretty good. We did 3 Keys Distillery, right? That's one we did, I think, maybe a month ago or something like that, maybe three sessions ago. And it had a real strong smell to it. And we were like, God, this is going to be horrible. Actually wound up being really good. It's really good. So.
This is a really light, almost a citrusy nose to it. Not harsh at all.
It's very mellow.
Yeah.
Very mellow.
Yeah, this is good. This is
$25. This is fantastic.
This is going to be this very well could be.
This is a go-to
for $25 and
for
drinking it neat.
Yeah.
You don't have that harsh burn or anything like that. I mean, something that you might get at that price point.
So how do you like your bourbon? They've heard us talk about it all the time.
Just on ice is how I normally would drink it.
Okay.
I don't like, I can have an old fashioned or a Manhattan or something like that occasionally, but I mean just on a regular basis, just on ice, and just enjoy the flavors.
Yeah, I was getting to expect a banker to go, well, I like mine mixed with Coke. I swear
You'd be kicked off the show.
Because we hadn't talked about that question yet, and I was like,
I'm not coming back.
I like mine with ginger ale. Oh my God, you're never coming back. But no, he actually does. That's cool. So I like mine neat. But I will tell you that while this one's good, it has a little bit of a back end that
on the back end,
yeah. So this is one. Again, if it's my daily, I probably would throw in a cube, which I'm getting ready to, because I think it'll actually make it a little bit better. But this is one that.
So you normally drink yours neat.
I normally drink it neat, yeah.
Now Jim Beam said he doesn't care how you drink it as long as you drink.
As long as you drink
that's
it.
True. Yeah. But we talked about this in the past, so you haven't been privy to all that. Although we did show you a couple of episodes right before. He was like, "What am I getting myself into?" We're like, "Here, we threw a couple up on the TV and let him look at them first." But
that's what you get for not watching the podcast. You see.
Yeah. So we talk about how we normally drink bourbon. Mine's neat. I like it neat, but I'm also a bourbon guy that I drink it during the cold, the cold months. So in the middle of the summer, if it's 90 degrees outside, I'm not reaching for a bourbon. I'm reaching for a cold beer. That happens to be what my preference is. But when it comes to the winter, fall, especially fall time, going to a football game, to sit out and tailgate and have a bourbon, not bourbon and Coke, that's different. But to have a bourbon, I think is how I do it. So
well, the ice is for the summertime.
Well, I get that, but anyway,
it keeps the mosquitoes away.
I'm a year-round guy. I like bourbon year-round.
Now, don't get me wrong. In the middle of summer, if we're here and we're, we after working hours, when there's nothing else to do.
Anytime on a day that ends in the word DAY,
and we have Uber if we need it. But yeah, there's nothing. I'll certainly sit down and grab a bourbon, no doubt. But. All right, so did you put ice in yours?
Yeah, I've tried it both ways. I do like it better with a cube, but I like it both ways. And I can also tell you that this would probably be a really good cocktail bourbon too, in an old fashioned or a Manhattan or something like that. Yeah. This is a really, really good all-purpose bourbon.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean that's very tasty.
Yeah,
it's very tasty. Mellow, smooth going down. I think it's a good all-around bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? The one thing I don't get a big hint of is any specific flavoring.
No, there's not.
It's not. Like sometimes
there's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, like sometimes you'll get one. It's overwhelming. Not in a bad way. Just overpowers everything else.
Yeah.
This is It's very smooth. It's very
mellow is a good word.
Yeah, mellow is
like
a good
that.
word. Yeah, mellow is probably the better word. I was trying to come up with one better than that, but the banker came up with that one. But anyway,
He didn't put Coke in it, so
Wow.
I
That's
like
right.
him anyway.
well, I used to work at a bank, so people call me a banker, but I wasn't a banker. All right, so let's go down the row here. Scale from 1 to 10.
Man, I think I'm going to go with an 8. I think at the price point, I think it's really, really good. There's not too many bourbons that you can get out there for $25 that you're going to be able to drink, neat and not have that, burn going down.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8 1/4 on this one, because
Just
because
guy.
yeah. No, I think it's
8 1/4.
8 1/4.
8.275.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8 1/8 because that's what he works off of, and he knows those numbers. So I'm doing 8 1/8 today. No, this is actually really good. The reason I give it an 8 is purely because of the price point, right? Because it's good and it's $25. So if it was $80, which the one we did 2 times ago, it was a 2-year bourbon, the 3 Keys we were talking about, and it was like $80 or $70.
It was expensive.
Like
I remember that. Yeah.
So while I thought it was a little bit better than this, not $60 difference or $50 difference or whatever it was. So I'm gonna go 8 1/4. What did I say? 8 1/8. Sorry.
An 8 1/8.
8.125.
You just got to be that guy.
I do.
I'm going to go 6 because it is a good all-purpose bourbon, but I'm going to upgrade it because of the price point to a 7. Because that price point is, you cannot beat that and get something that is this good all the way around. I guarantee you that's good in cocktails,
Yeah.
but not in Coke. A little ginger beer maybe. That would be good.
Ginger beer. Oh my gosh.
Dude, that's for
With
the
a
golf
twist of
course.
lime?
It's
Yeah.
like- no, just
What's that called? Is that called?
Kentucky Mule. Yeah.
Kentucky Mule. All right, so there you go. Here, let's throw, Mr. Producer,
back
can
up
you
there
throw
and
that
sit.
back up there? Evan Williams, single barrel, pretty good. The reason why it's single barrel is because Chris said it actually comes out of one barrel, not blended out of many barrels. So it's very good. Price point $25. It's very good. We appreciate Jeff walking across the hall for
Thanks,
again
Jeff.
free bourbon again. Got a free burger last week. Well, actually, it was about 20 minutes.
He's going to
ago.
volunteer next time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime you need me back.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so listen, if you need a mortgage or you need a refinance done, call Jeff. He's at Paducah Bank. You know where we are. You can walk in, go there, knock on the door, and ask for Jeff. He'd be more than happy to take care of you. Appreciate you stepping in because we were short a guy
good
today.
stuff.
And but here we go to another good week. We'll see you guys next week for another edition of Burgers and Bourbon. Well, here, I don't think we actually connected, but there you go. Have a good week.